Hey, what's up, YouTube? So today in this video, I'm going to be continuing my series of 2018 NFL prediction videos. Today, going to be covering the Washington Redskins, kind of looking at their schedule here game by game and giving you guys my prediction for their record for this season. Now, it was an interesting offseason for the Redskins as 2017 was a year plagued by injuries for them, especially along the offensive line. They had a porous run defense, which was the worst in the league, and the receiving core was just not up to snuff as it has been in recent seasons. So they did a lot of different moves in the offseason to kind of address these issues, with the main one being getting rid of Kirk Cousins, letting him leave in free agency, and then bringing in Alex Smith via trade and hoping that he can be the guy that can lead them to the playoffs for the next couple of seasons in the short-term future. We'll see if these moves will work out for them for this upcoming season as I take a look at their schedule now, starting in week 1, where the Redskins will be traveling to Arizona to play the Arizona Cardinals. And for me, this is a very even matchup in regards to the fact that these are two mediocre teams, I think in the NFC. Neither one really excites me that much in terms of this season. But for the Redskins here, unfortunately, I feel like the Cardinals, with the fact that they're at home and they just have a little bit more star power. We look at guys like David Johnson, Chandler Jones on the roster, Patrick Peterson. It's going to be a little bit too much for the Redskins here as they're going to start the year 0-1, losing to the Cardinals in this game on the road, going into their Week 2 matchup, which will be their home opener, facing off against the Indianapolis Colts. And at home, against a Colts defense that is just not very good whatsoever. I do not think the Colts will be able to stop anybody this season as far as their defense goes. I feel like Alex Smith and Andrew Luck are going to be in for a shootout here, and Alex Smith is going to have a big game, put up a lot of points in the scoreboard in the passing game in this one. And with the Redskins at home here and the fact that they just have a little bit of a better defense than the Colts, they're going to have the advantage here at home and win this one, starting off the year 1-1 in the first 2 weeks of the season, which will then lead into Week 3, where they're going to be staying at home, but they'll be playing the Green Bay Packers. And with a healthy Aaron Rodgers, there's just no way that the Redskins can beat them in this one. That's going to be another loss for them. Going to be 1-2, then going into their Week 4 bye. Going to Week 5 now, they're going to be at New Orleans to play the New Orleans Saints in the Superdome. And the Saints is one of the best home field advantages in the NFL, especially now that the Saints are just a loaded roster and they're going to be one of the contenders in the NFC. The Redskins just don't have enough weapons, I feel like, offensively to keep up with them. And even though they have an improved run defense, drafting Darren Payne, getting Jonathan Allen back healthy, they're not going to be able to stop the Saints' running game in this one. They're going to lose this one, dropping to 1-3 in the season. Going into Week 6, where they're going to be back at home again to play the Carolina Panthers, where, like I said, they have an improved run defense this season, and the Carolina Panthers is a team that will rely on their running game. I feel like this will be a nice week for the Redskins to really show off their improved run defense, and I think they will be able to do that in this one. And Alex Smith, if you can make enough plays in the passing game in this one, where the Carolina Panthers, they don't have the strongest secondary necessarily, this could be a nice opportunity to get a much-needed win for this Redskins team, going to 2-3. So I think they will get the win here, going to 2-3 in the season, going to their Week 7 matchup against the Cowboys at home, their first divisional matchup of the season. And at home, I feel like these two teams will probably split this one as an interdivisional rivalry here. So they're going to be 3-3 then, going into Week 8, where they're going to be on the road against the New York Giants. And as you saw in my Giants video, I have the Giants beating them twice. So the Redskins, I do not see them winning this one on the road. I feel like the Giants have a little bit too much playmakers at the receiving position, at the skill positions, way too much for the Redskins, and their poor secondary to really handle, despite the fact that Josh Norman and Odell Beckham Jr. are going to be going at it, which will definitely be fun to watch. I don't see the Redskins being able to beat them on the road here, so they're going to be dropping to 3-4, where they will then play the Atlanta Falcons at home. And again, I just feel like the Redskins, their secondary is just not good enough, I think, at this point to be able to keep up with some of the high-powered offenses in the NFL at this point. And the Falcons, with Calvin Ridley now in the fold with Julio Jones and that dynamic offense that they have in terms of on paper, too many weapons for the Redskins here and that secondary to handle. I just don't feel that Alex Smith and that offense will be able to keep up with them, especially because I just feel like the Falcons will keep them one-dimensional in this game. So the Falcons are going to beat the Redskins here on the road. The Redskins are going to be dropping to 3-5 in this one. So the first half of the year, they're 3-5 going into it. Not the greatest start in the world for this team that's looking to get back into the playoff, but in Week 10, they're going to be going to Tampa Bay to play the Buccaneers. Now, even though Jameis Winston will be back by this point, we're assuming here, I feel like the Redskins are going to be pulling out a much-needed win on the road here. I think Alex Smith against this defense of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers can have a big game against this team. So look for the Redskins to pull off a nice win on the road here in Week 10, playing the Buccaneers, going to 4-5 in the season. But then we get to a really tough spot in their schedule. So starting at home in Week 11, they're going to be playing the Houston Texans, and I don't think this Redskins defense will be able to stop Deshaun Watson at all. He's going to dissect this Redskins defense to a T. I mean, it's just going to be really tough for them. And the Texans, if they're healthy by this point with J.J. Watt, Jadeveon Clowney, Whitney Merciless, that pass rush is really tough, man. I don't see the Redskins being able to match that whatsoever. So the Redskins dropping to 4-6 here going into Week 12, where they'll be going to Jerry World here to play the Dallas Cowboys. And like I said, I think the Redskins and Cowboys will split this season. So on the road, I feel like they're going to lose this one, dropping to 4-7 then. They will play on the road again in Week 13. They're going to be going to Philadelphia then to play the Eagles, another tough road game. And the Redskins, they're just straight up not better than the Eagles. I don't care if it's a divisional game. They just do not have enough talent, I feel like, to be able to compete with these guys. They're going to drop to 4-8 now, where they'll be going home again finally to play the Giants in Week 14. And like I said, I feel like the Giants have too many weapons for this Redskins team. So even though the Redskins are at home in this one, I don't see it. I feel like the Redskins are going to drop this one again, dropping to 4-9 on the season. A really tough spot in their schedule here when you really look at it. And then to really top it all off, they're going to be going to Jacksonville then to play the Jacksonville Jaguars, who have maybe the best defense in all of football going into this season. I think they're going to be way too much for Alex Smith in this offense to be able to handle. If there is a weakness in this defense for the Jacksonville Jaguars, it's their rushing defense. Unfortunately, the Redskins, that's really not their strength in terms of running the football, especially with Darius Guice now out for the season. I just don't see the Redskins being able to pull this one out on the road. So they're going to be 4-10 at this point. So the season's basically lost at this point. Where they'll be traveling to Tennessee in Week 16 to play the Tennessee Titans. Even though this is a lost week for them, I feel like the Redskins are going to have a little bit of pride in them to really pull out a win here. Like I said, the Redskins have done a lot to beef up their run defense this offseason, and the Titans, they're a team that relies on the running game. I think they can stop the run just enough against this Titans' high-powered offensive attack in terms of their running game and shut them down just enough to get the win here, going to 5-10, going into their Week 17 matchup then against the Philadelphia Eagles at home. And this one really depends on if the Eagles have clinched anything and are looking to maybe rest some players here. If they are looking to rest some of their players at this point in the season, the last week of the season going into the playoffs, I feel like the Redskins can get a win in that case, winning this one, ending the year 6-10. So that is my prediction for the Washington Redskins. They're going to end the year 6-10 overall. Just what I think is going to go down for this team. Obviously, I have a really tough stretch for them late in the season where they will be losing 5 games in a row at some point in the year. Just a really tough spot for them. That will really sink their season, unfortunately. I like what the Redskins have done in this offseason in terms of addressing the run defense, which was just really bad last season, and they're going to be much better, I think. But they still don't have enough playmakers in the secondary on that side of the ball in general, I feel like, for that defense to be anywhere above average, I feel like. So I don't think you're getting anything game-changing, I think, from the defensive side of the ball for this team. And offensively, you bring in Alex Smith, who's kind of the same caliber quarterback as Kirk Cousins, and I think their offensive line should be healthier this season. But with the lack of playmakers around Alex Smith that they had in Kansas City and the lack of innovative offensive genius that is Andy Reid and Matt Nagy that he had in Kansas City as well, I feel like Alex Smith is due to fall back to earth a little bit with the lack of weapons here and just be back to the kind of the mediocre average quarterback that he has been throughout his entire career. Which really will sink the season overall. I feel like overall for the Redskins, it's going to be a bit of a grind for this team to even reach mediocrity, unfortunately. But those are kind of just my general thoughts on Redskins. How do you think they'll be doing this season? Give me your thoughts in the comment sections. Please be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you like what you saw here and want more videos such as this. Thanks, guys, for watching.